Please note that all information and content on UK Health Radio and our blog are provided by the authors, producers, and companies themselves and is only intended as additional information to your general knowledge and does not substitute professional medical advice or treatment. So please do not delay or disregard any medical advice received due to information gathered on the UK Health Radio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
UK Health Radio.
Your global leading health conversation station.
The Live Healthy Breakfast Show.
With your host,
Dr. Shan. Good morning. Welcome to the Live Healthy Breakfast Show. My name is Dr. Shan Hussain. I'll be your host every morning between 7 to 9 to help get your day off to a nice, healthy, fresh start. And we're going to start with some great music. This is U2 Desire. Fantastic. That's U2 and Desire. Today's the 28th of October, 2019. It's now 7:04 a.m. and we've just had the clocks go back this weekend. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed their extra hour and I hope you found it restful. And we're now finding, obviously, the days are getting a lot shorter now. We're probably not getting quite as much sunshine as we were a few days ago even. And so it's important at this time of year, and this is backed by Public Health England, and everyone does actually look into taking some sort of supplementation around vitamin D. This is one of the few things that few supplement recommendations directly from the horse's mouth from NHS England that everyone should take vitamin D supplementation throughout the winter months, just simply because we're just not getting enough daylight and it's not all that easy to get through our diets. So do look into getting something to help support your well-being. There's a ton of scientific evidence to support the actual regular intake of vitamin D. So have a chat with your pharmacist, your chemist, or even your doctor about what sort of dosage or brand it will be suitable for you. And if you're not sure, then it might be worthwhile just getting your levels checked through your doctor. It's something that we do, very common. I'm finding probably about half the time that people are somewhat insufficient in their levels, and we can top them up very quickly. So that's just a little bit of information about vitamin D, and it's very important this time of year to look into it. Okay, so we are live for the next 2 hours, and if you want to follow the show, or if you want to make any requests or anything you'd like us to talk about, you can use the hashtag Live Healthy Breakfast Show on Twitter and just post up anything in particular you'd like us to talk about. Let's head up some great new music. We're going to play, let's have a look here, Radiohead, Thinking About You.
Been thinking about you, your red couture hair, your eyes on my wall, your teeth are over there, but I'm still no one, and you're not a star. What do you care? Been thinking about you, and there's no rest. Should I still love you, still see you in bed, but I'm playing with myself. What do you care when the other men are far, far better? All the things you got, all the things you need. Who bought you cigarettes, who bribed the company to come and see you, honey. I've been thinking about you. So how can you sleep? These people aren't your friends. They're paid to kiss your feet. They don't know what I know. And why should you care when I'm not there? Still love you, still see you in bed, but I'm playing with myself. Why do you care when I'm not there? All the things you got that you'll never need, all the things you got, I plan and I bleed to please you.
Fantastic. That's Radiohead, Thinking About You. And we are now live on Twitter. We've got our hashtag Live Healthy Breakfast Show. If you want to follow us or if you want to post anything, please do let us know what you're up to. If you'd like us to play any tunes or talk about any particular field around health and well-being, then we'd love to hear from you. I want to play a song now for a friend of mine who sadly passed away a few weeks ago. This was his favorite artist. And so we're going to play. This is for my friend Will. This is Iggy Pop, The Passenger.
passenger. We'll ride through the city tonight. We'll see the city's ripped back sides. We'll see the bright and hollow sky. We'll see the stars that shine so bright. Stars made for us tonight. Passenger, how it rides. Oh, the passenger, he rides and he rides. He looks through his window. What does he see? He sees the side and hollow sky. He sees the stars come out tonight. He sees the city's ripped back sides. He sees the winding ocean drive. And everything was made for you and me. All of it was made for you and me. 'Cause it just belongs to you and me. So let's take a ride and see what's mine. Singing la 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 Oh, the passenger, he rides and he rides. He sees things from under glass. He looks through his window inside. He sees the things he knows are his. He sees the bright and hollow sky. He sees the city sleep at night. He sees the stars are out tonight. And all of it is yours and mine. And all of it is yours and mine. So let's ride and ride and ride and ride. Singing la 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 singing la 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 la
That's Iggy Pop and The Passenger. What a great tune that is. Now, I wanted to talk about this documentary that I saw this weekend. I'm a little bit late to this one. It actually came out last year. It's called The Game Changers, and it's a documentary made by a former UFC fighter called James Wilkes, who was actually born and raised not too far from where I am at the moment, just a few miles up the road in a place called Melton Mowbray. Now, James went on to become a UFC fighter, and after an injury, he found that he was really struggling with his knees and was required to take 6 months rehabilitation, which he wanted to obviously accelerate and get himself back into fighting shape as fast as possible. So he started doing his own research into how people could heal quicker, and this quickly brought him into looking into veganism and what that can really do to support strength and to also aid recovery. And it's really a fascinating documentary. It's got some quite significant people being interviewed who are talking about this approach, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lewis Hamilton, Djokovic. It's also produced by James Cameron, Jackie Chan, and really gave me something to think about. I mean, my approach, my thoughts around the vegan diet, whilst I've got nothing against it, do recognize there are some deficiencies, particularly vitamin B12 and choline. But looking at what we saw in this documentary, it's really kind of opened my eyes to exploring it further. So I've decided to give it a go, and for the next 7 days, see how I feel, and I'll certainly keep you posted as to what kind of progress I make. But in the meantime, do check it out. It's streaming on Netflix now. It's called The Game Changers. Came out in 2018, and it's been produced by James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, Lewis Hamilton, Novak Djokovic, Chris Paul, Joseph Pace and James Wilkes himself, who talks us through it. So yes, do check that out and do let us know what you think. Let's press on with some more music. We're going to go for the Stone Roses' Sugar Spud Sister.
All what she does, she gives it all what she's got. Until the sky turns green, the grass is several shades of blue. Every member of Parliament trips on glue.
That's the Stone Roses' Sugar Spun Sister, one of Britain's greatest bands. What a great song that was, and it was certainly a great era as well, around about that time. Now, I've come across this recent article that I just wanted to talk about that was published in Vogue recently about how to support gut health. And this is an area that really is starting to emerge, and I do think it's an important area that needs to get more attention. You know, I think it's only in the last sort of 10 years that we've been getting more and more information, particularly through advertising, about gut health and probiotics. And I wanted to talk briefly, just very briefly, about why it's so important. In terms of the gut itself, it's thought to be known as, or to use recognized colloquialisms as, our second brain, and it does have a massive impact on our overall health and well-being through many different ways that we don't entirely fully understand. But it's known that if we don't support our gut health, or if we allow our gut health to deteriorate, it can show up in many different types of illnesses. And this article is very interesting, talks about 5 different things that we can do to support our gut health. One of the most important ones is obviously eating healthily, making sure we're getting good quality whole foods, natural foods, and fibrous foods to make sure that we have a good biodiversity within the microbiome, and that really means just looking at including that with every meal we have throughout the day. Taking a probiotic, particularly if you've been on recent antibiotics. In fact, I believe in France nowadays, when doctors prescribe antibiotics, they also prescribe probiotics at the same time to make sure that the gut flora is supported. Taking an antibiotic, whilst there are important and essential times when they need to be taken, without a doubt, they can destroy many of the healthy bacteria as well throughout our gut, and so it's important to make sure that we allow those to be replaced. So taking a probiotic can be an effective way of doing that. Getting enough sleep is a critical part, and my general recommendation throughout my work and with all my patients, I always say taking between 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day on average. Good, healthy, restful nightly sleep. Taking care of stress is obviously a critical one. There are lots of different ways, and I always find that the best way is going to be individualized, tailored to that person. We can't go around telling everyone to meditate or to practice yoga or to exercise. I think it's always best to ask people what healthy activity they enjoy doing that makes them feel relaxed and centered and present and grounded and just generally feeling at peace. And that can just help to release a lot of the stress that we can pick up throughout the busy day. And the final one is movement, activity. I don't tend to use the word exercise quite as much because it tends to bring up a lot of negative connotations, but mindful movement, just going for a brisk walk, 30 minutes a day, can have a tremendous impact on our overall health, and not least our gut microbiome. So that's just something just to have a think about. Really important that we do take care of all the areas that can potentially lead to illness. And it's an article taken from British Vogue. Do check it out. It does look very interesting, and I do agree with the content there. Okay, let's press on with some great music. This is Ryan Adams, New York, New York.
Shuffle through the city on a 4th of July, had a firecracker waiting to blow, breaking like a rocker who was making his way to the cities of Mexico. Lived in an apartment out on Avenue A, at a tall on a corner of town. Had myself a lover who was finer than gold, but I've been broken, I've been busted up since. Love don't play any games with me anymore like she did before. The world won't wait, so I bet she, that thing right out there through the door. Hell, I still love you, New York. Found myself a picture that would fit in the folds of my wallet, and it stayed pretty good. Still amazed that I didn't lose that on a loop of the place. When I was drunk and I was thinking of you. Every day the children, they were singing the tunes out on the streets, and you could hear from inside. Used to take the subway on the house in the third. I would wait for you and not try to hide. Love won't play any games with you anymore if you don't want them to. The world won't wait, watch you shake, but honey, I don't blame you. Hell, I still love you, New York. In the blistering cold in the church on the Upper West Side. Babe, I stood there singing, I was holding your arm, you were holding my trust like a child. Found a lot of trouble out on Avenue B, but I tried to keep the overhead low. Farewell to the city and the love of my life, these we lived before we had to go. Love won't play any games with you anymore if you don't want them to.
Brilliant. That's Ryan Adams and New York, New York, taken from the album Gold. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. Do check it out. Okay, let's press on. Now, I wrote an article earlier last year about things that we can do to support our health, and in keeping with what we want to do with this show to help us get off to a nice healthy start throughout the morning. I wanted to share some of the information that I found here, and this is based on a lot of fairly robust scientific research that's been done over the last probably 5 decades or so. The article was called 10 Simple Lifestyle Changes that will help you live longer. And it's really talking about how, despite all the incredible advances we've had in science and technology and medicine over the last few decades, we're now finding that life expectancy levels are now starting to fall, both in the US and in the UK. And maybe this is why longevity is becoming so topical. People are talking about different interventions and procedures that people can take. There's a new device or a new pill that claims to have the ability to add more years to our lives. But I wanted to talk and look into more about simple lifestyle steps that pretty much anyone can take that are actually proven to help us live longer, going beyond the traditional eat well and exercise and stop smoking advice that we all hear about. So when I looked into this, I summarized it to 10 different things that we can talk about. I'm going to talk about 2 at a time. The first one was based on a 12-year study that was performed at Yale University and published in Social Science and Medicine. And it was really simple. It was about reading a book. And they found that book readers experienced a 20% reduction in mortality compared to non-book readers. Just reading for 30 minutes a day helped people live an average of 23 months longer compared to people who didn't read books. And that was regardless of gender or wealth or education or health. And I found that fascinating. Now, it's an association. That doesn't mean it's necessarily the causation, but they did find that as a general pattern, book readers seem to live longer. The second one, now this is a little bit controversial, but I'll tell you about it just as the information I have. It was based on a study in Sweden fairly recently that showed that people who own dogs were 23% less likely to die of cardiovascular disease, and they also experienced a 20% lower risk of mortality from all causes. And the authors weren't really able to explain this link, but what would you put it down to, whether it's down to additional physical activity when you're walking a dog twice a day, and obviously the emotional connection that dog owners have with their dogs. But perhaps they play the most important roles there. But as a disclaimer from author, and obviously I'll certainly support this myself as a disclaimer, that not everyone is up to owning a dog. If you feel that that's not right for you, then obviously, it's important to consider other steps. So they're the first 2 steps. I'm going to talk about all 10 over the course of the show, but let's press on with some more great music. This is Night Swimming by REM.
Night swimming deserves a quiet night. The photograph on the dashboard, taken years ago, turned around backwards so the windshield shows. Every street light reveals a picture in reverse. Still it's so much clearer. I forgot my shirt at the water's edge. The moon is low tonight. Night swimming deserves a quiet night. I'm not sure all these people understand. It's not like years ago, the fear of getting caught, the recklessness in water. They cannot see me naked.
pace by every day, night swimming, remembering that night. September's coming soon, pining for the moon. And what if there were two side by side in orbit around the fairest sun? That bright, tight, forever drum cannot describe night swimming. You, I thought I knew you. You, I cannot judge. You, I thought you knew me. This one laughing quietly underneath my breath, night swimming. Every street light a reminder, night swimming deserves a quiet night, deserves a quiet night.
Great. That's Night Swimming by REM. I love that song from the album Automatic for the People, 1992. And it's a terrific record there. Let's press on with the 10 different steps that people can take that can be scientifically proven to help us live longer. So we've got as far as number 3. And so this one is about fiber intake. And this is an interesting area because I had a chat and met up with Dr. Zoe Harcombe recently, and we talked a lot about fiber, and she's got some very interesting information around it, but I'll get into that shortly. What we found and what the study showed in 2014, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, showed that eating 35 grams of fiber every day from fruits and vegetables can help us to reduce our chances of heart disease by 54%, and also reduce our chances of dying from all causes by 37%. And I mean, that really is astonishing. And as I often say, there's no pill in the world that can help do that. It's all, and the authors pointed out that fiber-rich fruits and vegetables also contain the vitamins and minerals that may help support the heart and prevent cancer and treat inflammation. But when I spoke with Dr. Harcombe about this, she raised the interesting point that fiber, in her opinion, is a marker of health, but not necessarily a maker of health. In actual fact, if you look at what fiber does, we don't actually absorb fiber. We digest it and we eliminate it, but it doesn't actually play a role in helping in terms of being absorbed into our bodies. So it's an interesting area to look at, and certainly kept an open mind around it. But that was a very interesting finding. So yes, that was in 2014 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 35 grams of fiber a day associated with lowering our chances of heart disease by 54% and reducing our risk of dying from all causes by 37%. And the fourth one was taking a brisk walk every day. As we may know, Hippocrates once said that walking is man's best medicine. And according to the Mayo Clinic, taking a regular brisk walk has a number of health benefits. And there was a study presented at the European Society of Cardiology that showed how 25 minutes of brisk walking every day can add up to 7 years to our lives. Again, there's no pill in the world that will do that. And it's also shown that in addition to walking, any regular leisure time activity can potentially increase our lifespan by between 2 to 7 years. So taking a brisk walk every day is one of the key things I talk about. I don't really advise people take strenuous exercise every day. Just start with a brisk walk. 30 minutes can make a massive difference in our overall health and well-being. So we'll come back to that list shortly. Let's press on with some more tunes. We are going to play, I do love this song. This is Carly Simon, You're So Vain.
Son of a gun. You walked into the party like you were walking onto a yacht. Your hat strategically dipped below one eye. Your scarf, it was apricot. You had one eye in the mirror as you watched yourself carve out. And all the girls dreamed that they'd be your partner. They'd be your partner. And you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I'll bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? Oh, you had me several years ago when I was still quite naive. When you said that we made such a pretty pair and that you would never leave. But you gave away the things you loved, and one of them was me. I had some dreams, they were clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee. And you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I'll bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? I had some dreams, they were clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee. And you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I'll bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? When I hear you went up to Saratoga and your horse naturally won, then you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. When you're where you should be all the time, and when you're not, you're with some underworld spy or the wife of a close friend, wife of a close friend. And you're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I'll bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? in a bottle, yeah. A year has passed since I wrote my note. I should have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep me together. Love can mend your life, but love can break your heart. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Oh, message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Walked out this morning, don't believe what I saw. 100 billion bottles washed up on the shore. Seems I'm not alone in being alone. 100 billion castaways looking for a home. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Yeah. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Send it out an SOS. Send it out an SOS. I'm sending out an SOS. I'm sending out an SOS. I'm sending out an SOS. 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 Sending out an SOS.
That's The Police, Message in a Bottle, sending out an SOS. What a great song that is. Okay, we're live today. It's Monday, the 28th of October. It's now 7:46 a.m. I hope you're doing well today and having a fantastic morning. Certainly is a glorious day out there. Nice bright sunrise coming up that I can see out the window. So we're going to press on with this information that we've been sharing today on 10 scientifically proven ways that can help you live longer. So we've got as far as number 4. We're going to press on with number 5 now. And that really relates to, and this is quite an interesting one actually, it's about television. Because obviously common sense tells us that too much television is not good for our health. And in this day and age of, box sets and, prolonged Netflix and we're finding that increasingly we're watching more and more TV than ever. In fact, the average person watches around 4 hours of television every single day in the Western world. The average American watching 5 hours. And we have to say, well, how much is too much? Aside from working and sleeping, watching TV is the single most common thing, most common daily activity that we do in the developed world. And there was a large 40-year meta-analysis that was conducted in 2011. So I wonder what it would be like now. But it did confirm that prolonged TV viewing is associated with an increased risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, as well as all-cause mortality. And whether it's down to, the fact that we are so much more sedentary when we're watching TV, we're just sat down, not really moving as much, or if people are more inclined to eat junk while they're watching TV, wasn't entirely clear, but they did find that the association was linear, meaning the more TV people watched, then the worse their health parameters got. So it's quite an interesting association. It'd be worthwhile just perhaps considering doing something else, maybe switching it off and considering other healthier activities that can support our overall well-being. So that was a very interesting meta-analysis. And like you said, it'd be very interesting also to see what that would show today, now that 8 years have passed since that study was done. Okay, well, let's press on with some more great music. We're going to come back to that list, then we'll summarize it at the end. Let's go for The Cure, Boys Don't Cry. That's The Cure and Boys Don't Cry. What a timeless tune that is. Okay, well, that's great. Let's press on with the list that we've got here. We're talking about 10 simple lifestyle changes that are proven to help us live longer. We've got as far as number 6 now, and that is about something that we've talked about in our 2 test shows earlier last week, and that is around practicing yoga and meditation. And the first thing I noticed when I was compiling this article was how I've met many yoga instructors over the years, and I always notice the first thing that strikes me is how much younger they appear compared to their years. And they found that in the study, the health benefits of practicing yoga, whilst now being accepted by modern medicine, the longevity effects have actually been proven in a study performed in India back in 2017. And they found that not only can we slow down the aging process, but we can actually reverse the effects of aging. by adopting yoga and meditation-based lifestyle interventions. And they looked at what we call telomeres, which are the ends of our chromosomes. As we get older, these start to shorten. But those practicing yoga found that they weren't shortening quite as much. And in some cases, they actually started to lengthen again, which really was fascinating. I think a lot more research needs to be done into why this happens, how this happens, and how we can actually spread it and start to use it more practically across the medical sector to help support patients who would benefit from such approaches. So that is number 6. And I mean, there are a ton of health benefits around yoga and meditation, and that's something perhaps we can talk about in another section in the future. But I'm certainly a huge advocate of practicing such approaches. And there's, like I say, there's a ton of scientific evidence to support them. Okay, well, let's press on with some more music. We're going to go for a bit of a controversial artist at the moment, if you believe everything you're reading in the news, but we're going to go for Morrissey and Suede Head.
a blind man sat on a fence, but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Why?
Please note that all information and content on UK Health Radio and our blog are provided by the authors, producers, and companies themselves and is only intended as additional information to your general knowledge and does not substitute professional medical advice or treatment. So please do not delay or disregard any medical advice received due to information gathered on the UK Health Radio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
UK Health Radio.
Your global leading health conversation station.
The Live Healthy Breakfast Show.
With your host,
Dr. Shen.
Okay, it's 2 minutes past 8 on this glorious Monday, the 28th of October, 2019. I do hope you're having a good morning so far. And yes, I can't emphasize that disclaimer enough. I think it's really important that we really recognize and take ownership of the health decisions that we make that will support our overall well-being, and take appropriate advice from your doctor, your pharmacist, your preferred health and well-being practitioner, but also to perform one's own due diligence and ultimately decide that they're going to take ownership of the decisions that we make around our overall health and well-being. Okay, let's press on with this list of things that we can do to help support our own health and well-being and are scientifically proven to help us live longer. So we've got a list of 10. We've got as far as number 7. And it's an interesting one. This it was based on a study from the Journal of American Medicine in 2015. And it was talking about the health benefits of taking regular saunas. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, it's important to seek appropriate medical advice before taking a sauna, particularly if you're planning on taking one regularly. But they found that frequent sauna use was associated with a reduced risk in heart disease and in all-cause mortality. And the lowest risk was noted in those who took a sauna for 20 minutes per session, 4 days a week. And we don't really understand how that works. You know, where's the evidence that demonstrates how it works? Is it just a simple sort of association? Because correlation does not mean the same as causation, but they certainly found that there was a link there, and it's worth exploring to look into why that's happening. But in the meantime, that could well be another way that can add more years to our lives, and perhaps something, if you feel that you'd like to consider, then again, like I say, do take appropriate medical advice. But there do appear to be some health benefits towards taking regular saunas. And like I say, that study was done in 2015, the Journal of American Medicine. Let's press on with some more music. We're going to go for Hysteria.
Something's happening here today. A show of strength with your boys brigade. And I'm so happy and you're so kind. You want more money, of course I don't mind. Should my nuclear text was for atomic rhymes. And the public gets what the public wants. But I want nothing, society got. I'm going underground. What if the brass bands play up? Start to pound, going underground. What if the boys all sing, or if the boys all shout for tomorrow? Some people might get some pleasure out to hate me. I've had enough already on my plate. People might need some tension to relax me. I'm too busy dodging between the facts. You see, here's what you get. You've made your bed, you better lie in it. You choose your leaders and place your trust. As the lies wash you down and their promises rust. Cause the killing machines with paper, rockets and guns. And the public wants what the public gets. But I don't give what the society wants. I'm going underground. All of the brass bands play on feet, start to pound. Going underground. So let the boys all sing, or let the boys all shout for tomorrow. La 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 la. La 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 la. We're talking till my head explodes. I turn on the news and my body explodes. Spraying shit on my TV screen. But this boy shout, like this boy scream. Going underground. Going underground. Going underground. I'm going underground.
That is The Jam, Going Underground. What a great song that is. And so, yes, we're live. It's 8:13 in the morning, Monday, the 28th of October. Hope you're having a fantastic morning so far. We're going to press on with this really interesting list of 10 scientifically proven ways that can help you live longer. And we got as far as number 8. Now, this was based on a Norwegian study that showed that women with a good sense of humor had a 48% lower mortality rate compared to those that didn't. But the authors were unable to find a similar link for men, but they did notice that men who had a good sense of humor were less likely to die from infectious disease. And the conclusion based on this study was that a sense of humor is a health-producing cognitive coping resource. So locating a sense of humor, trying to see the humor in things that happen, I accept is not easy nowadays, given everything that's happening in the world, but it can be life-saving, and it certainly can be health-protecting. So it's a really key way that we can help to support our overall health and well-being. So yes, that was based on a Norwegian study. I'm going to just see if I can find that just to give you a bit more information about it. But it was a 15-year follow-up study. It was published in April 2016 in Psychosomatic Medicine. Okay, well, we're going to press on with some great music. One of my favorite artists coming up now. This is Kate Bush.
I still dream of Organon. I wake up crying. You're making rain, and you're just in reach. When you in sleep escape me, you're like my yo-yo that glowed in the dark. What made it special? sun's coming out. Ooh, I just know that something good is gonna happen. I don't know when, but just saying it can't even make it happen. No. Ooh, just saying it can't even make it happen. Can't waste a day. Your sun's coming out. Your sun's coming out.
And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming, or the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
Fantastic. That's the Goo Goo Dolls and Iris. What a great song that is. Okay, so we're going to press on with this list of things that we can do to support longevity, 10 simple lifestyle changes that can help you live longer. And we've got as far as number 9. Okay, if you've missed the beginning, don't worry, I'm going to summarize them towards the end of the show. But number 9 is a very straightforward one, a little bit of common sense, I guess, but also now that we've got some science to back it, hopefully it will be more widely adopted. And that is really around eating whole foods. So real foods, things that we know are food and recognize to be food. And it's based on a broad study that showed a whole food plant-based diet led to improvements in body mass index, cholesterol levels, and several chronic disease risk factors. A few years ago, Mediterranean diets that were largely consisting of vegetables and olive oil and fish were found to be associated with between 10 to 20% reduction in all-cause mortality, which is astonishing, and it's a very, very simple and straightforward way to support our own health. And a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Asim Malhotra, who you may well have heard of. If you haven't, I'd certainly recommend checking out his work. He's a well-known cardiologist down in London, and he's written a book, co-written a book called The Pioppi Diet, based on a small village just in Italy, which has a population of only 200 people or so. But it's incredible how long people in that village live. They have way above average life expectancy. And what's interesting in the village is there's an overall community spirit there. People take care of each other. There's no supermarkets. There's no gyms. Everything that they consume is fresh and it's local. The fishermen go out to sea every day and catch fish for the village, and there's a really sort of strong, close-knit community feeling to the place. And a lot of the food they eat, obviously, is a Mediterranean diet. It's largely consisting of fish and olive oil, vegetables, and they go on to live considerably longer than average. So yes, it's a fascinating book, and I would recommend checking it out. It's called The Pioppi Diet by Dr. Asim Malhotra, and all proceeds, all profits from the sale of that book do go to his designated charity. So yes, it's someone I greatly admire, and I would recommend checking it out. Okay, we're going to hand over to our producer, Paul. I'm going to cut to an ad break now. We'll be back shortly.
Health Scans, the inside story. Are you searching for a better way to manage your health? For a way forward from your mystery health condition? Then let our Health Scan reveal the inside story. We help people every day as our system completes a fast, automated full body scan and treats in the same session. Families are waking up to a better way to manage their health. By revealing the inside story, you too may find the missing link you have been searching for. My name is Kevin Davis. Call me today on 02079 657 548 or visit biohealthscan.co.uk and help make us your first choice for a healthier you.
Okay, we're back. We've got a request coming. This is going to be Someone You Love by Lewis Capaldi. I do like this guy.
I'm going on during this time. I feel there's no one to save me. This all and nothing really got away, you're driving me crazy. I need somebody to hear, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I'm going under, and this time I feel there's no one to turn to. This all and nothing way of loving, go be sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know, somebody to hear, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you help me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. And I tend to close my eyes when it hurts. Sometimes I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your soul till I come back around. For now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love, but now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance. I met her on Grafton Street, right outside of the bar. She shared a cigarette with me while her brother played the guitar. She asked me, what does it mean? The Gaelic ink on your arm. Said it was one of my friend's songs. Do you want to drink on? She took Jamie as a chaser, Jack for the fun. She got Arthur on the table with Johnny riding a shotgun. Chatted some more, one more drink at the bar. Then put Van on the jukebox, got up to dance. You know she played her fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance with my pretty little Galway girl. You're my pretty little Galway girl. Hey. You know she beat me at darts and then she beat me at pool, and then she kissed me like there was nobody else in the room. As last orders were called was when she stood on the stool after dancing to Kaylee singing to trad tunes. I never heard Carrick Fergus ever sung so sweet. A cappella in the bar using her feet for a beat. Oh, I could have that voice playing on repeat for a week. And in this packed out room swear she was singing to me. You know she played her fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance, my pretty little Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl. Well, now we've all said our welcome and it's closing time. I was holding her hand was holding mine. Our coats both smell of smoke, whiskey and wine, as we fill up her lungs with the cold air of the night. I walked her home, then she took me inside to finish some Doritos and another bottle of wine. I swear I'm gonna put you in a song that I write about a Galway girl and a perfect night. She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. Kissed her on the neck and then I took her by the hands. And baby, I just wanna dance, my pretty little Galway girl. My Galway girl. My Galway girl.
That's Ed Sheeran and Galway Girl. Okay, so we're going to just come up to the final one on this list of 10 scientifically proven ways to help you live longer. And the final one is based on a study by a gentleman called Erdman Palmore back in 1969, a famous study that he found the single best predictor for a lifespan in our latter years was actually job satisfaction. He concluded that he found people who felt they were doing useful and meaningful work during the latter years of their life were most likely to live longer. And this study really did make some waves at the time, and it's still quoted now. And here we are now, 50 years later. Erdman Palmore is Professor Emeritus of Medical Sociology at Duke University, North Carolina, still going strong. And it's fascinating to see how that single thing can actually help to make us live longer. So that's the 10 scientifically proven ways to help us live longer. It's not an exhaustive list by any means. I'm sure there are many other things in there. I'm sure I'll get around one day to writing another 10. But it does indeed show that we're able to live beyond the average lifespan by adopting some simple, healthy practices into our daily rituals. And maybe it's even possible that when Dr. Deepak Chopra said, the way we think and the way we behave and the way we eat can influence our lives by 30 to 50 years, he could well have been right. Okay, so let's press on with another great track. This is undoubtedly my favorite artist of all time. It was a great loss to us 3 years ago. I'm going to play Dolphin.
How beautiful do the words have to be before they conquer every heart? How will you know if I'm even in the right key? If you make me stop before I start. If I came back as a dolphin, would you listen to me then? baby. Before they conquer every heart. If I came back as a dolphin, would you listen to me then? Would you let me be your friend? Would you let me? You can cut off all my fear, but to your ways I will not bend. I die before I let you tell me how to swim. Come back in the end, oh, the dolphin. I'll come back, baby. Let me in, the dolphin. Let me in, be my friend.
Fantastic. I love that track so much. So that was Prince and Dolphin. That came out in 95 when he was no longer going under the name Prince. And it's a really powerful song, some really strong lyrics there about artistic integrity and not being dictated to when you have a message to give. Okay, so we're going to cut to a commercial break. So we'll be back after this short word from our sponsors.
Health Scans, the inside story. Are you searching for a better way to manage your health? For a way forward from your mystery health condition? Then let our Health Scan reveal the inside story. We help people every day as our system completes a fast, automated full body scan and treats in the same session. Families are waking up to a better way to manage their health. By revealing the inside story, you too may find the missing link you have been searching for. My name is Kevin Davis. Call me today on 02079 657 548 or visit biohealthscan.co.uk and help make us your first choice for a healthier you.
change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mode. I am here in my mode, and I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my mode. No, 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 no. No, I can change it. No, I can change it. 'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's life. Trying to make ends meet, trying to find someone and then you die. I'll take you down the only road I've ever been down. You know, the one that takes you to the places where all the things meet, yeah. You know I can change, I can change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mode. I am here in my mode, and I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my mode. No, 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 no. I can change my mode. No, 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 no. I can change my mode. No, 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 no. It's got to change my environment. Melody and silence. Got to change my violence. Melody and violence. Got to change my
That's The Verve and Bittersweet Symphony. That was a request from our producer, Paul. What a great track that is. I remember seeing The Verve actually twice back in 97, 98 in London, and then in San Francisco. Really, really powerful live band. And it's great to hear that they're finally getting paid from that track. They've sorted out the royalty dispute, and for years they didn't receive any money at all from that great song. So they've got some good news just there. Okay, so we're going to summarize what we've been talking about this morning when we've been discussing simple lifestyle changes that are scientifically proven to help us live longer. There were 10 in total. Let's just go through them now and just very briefly talk about the evidence behind them. Number one was regular reading. The study in Yale found that reading just 30 minutes a day helped people live an average of 23 months longer compared to non-book readers. The second one was how dog owners live longer than people who don't own dogs, and they found that they were 23% less likely to die of cardiovascular disease, and also a 20% lower risk of mortality in all causes if people owned a dog. But as a disclaimer, the co-author, Dr. To Fall, wisely shared the advice that not everyone is up to owning a dog. So let's be very clear on that final point there. The third one was getting regular daily fiber intake of 35 grams or more every single day. In a 2014 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, it found that it was associated with a 54% reduction in heart disease and a 37% reduction in all-cause mortality. The fourth one was taking a regular brisk daily walk. As Hippocrates said, walking is man's best medicine. And this was based on a study. This particular section was based on a study from 2015 that was presented to the European Society of Cardiology, showing that 25 minutes of daily brisk walking can add up to 7 years to our lives. And in addition to that, it was also shown that any regular leisure time activity can potentially increase our lifespan by between 2 to 7 years. The fifth one was to cut down on television watching. People were watching on average 4 to 5 hours of television every single day, and there was a large meta-analysis showing that that is associated with an increased risk in type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and all-cause mortality, with a linear association, meaning the more telly you watch, the more likely you are to get these conditions. So cutting back on regular TV use, particularly in this day and age of box sets and Netflix, it's perhaps important to bear that in mind. The sixth one was practicing yoga and meditation, and how a study in India performed in 2017 showed that we can not only slow down the aging process, but also reverse the effects of aging by adopting yoga and meditation-based lifestyle interventions. Seventh one was a regular sauna use. For 20 minutes a session, at least 4 days a week, did show a reduction in cardiovascular disease, but it was also advised that people seek appropriate medical advice before using a sauna, but that evidence was shown in a 2015 JAMA study. And number 8 was locating your sense of humor, and how a Norwegian study showed that women with a good sense of humor had a 48% lower mortality rate, but in men, they didn't find a similar result in men, but they did find that men with a good sense of humor were less likely to die from infectious disease, and they did conclude that a sense of humor is thought to be a health-protecting cognitive coping resource. Number 9 was eating whole foods, which we talk about very often. I talk about that throughout my podcast, but they found that Mediterranean diets consisting of fruits, vegetables, olive oil, and fish found to be associated with a 10 to 20% reduction in all-cause mortality, not just cardiovascular disease. And the broad study performed in 2017 showed that a whole food, plant-based diet led to improvements in weight or body mass index, cholesterol levels, and many other chronic disease risk factors. And then the final one was based on a famous study by Erdman Palmore in 1969, who found that in our latter years, if we have a job that gives us satisfaction and we feel we're doing useful and meaningful work, it actually helps us to live longer. And Erdman Palmore is still a widely respected gerontologist, professor emeritus in medical sociology at Duke University in North Carolina, over 50 years later since he published that paper. So yes, very interesting findings that we've got there, and I hope you found something interesting. Now, just to be clear, I'm not suggesting everyone jumps in and starts doing all of those things all at once, but just find a few that maybe resonate with you, and ensure that your doctor is happy with any decisions you make that will support your health and well-being. And see how you feel, see what you feel you can stick to, and see what improvements you get. And do let us know what you notice. Okay, we're going to press on with probably our final track for today. It's coming up to 8:52 now, Monday the 28th of October. We're going to play, we haven't played any Aerosmith yet, which I think we need to rectify. Let's go with this song.
It's the sound of my gun. It's the sound. Jeannie got a gun. Jeannie got a gun. Come undone. Looking straight at the sun. What did her daddy do? What did he put you through? They say when Jamie was arrested, they found him underneath the train. But man, he had it coming. Now that Jamie's got a gun, she ain't never gonna be the Jeannie got a gun.
That's the brilliant Aerosmith with Janie's Got a Gun. What a great track that is. Okay, so we're going to wrap up the show for today. I do hope you've enjoyed the last 2 hours with me and my company and the music we've been playing. We're going to be back tomorrow at same time, 7 a.m. for another 2 hours, and going to keep it topical and hopefully interesting and entertaining around any and all matters relating to health and well-being. My name is Dr. Shahan Hussain. I hope you enjoy the show, and until tomorrow, I do wish you the very best of health.
We're back every day from 7 till 9 a.m. with the Life Healthy Breakfast Show. Stay tuned for many more fantastic shows on UK